Before cancer in 2018, and before my niece and nephew were born, I 100% wanted kids. From a young age, I felt like I practically oozed mother energy, even though I was the youngest of three. That energy was apparent in my early childhood days, when I religiously cared for my baby doll, Dill Pickles, from the Rugrats. In high school, when my cross-country teammates called me the mother hen of our group. And then in college, when I wouldn't drink too much so I could care for my friends and recount their actions from the previous night that were a little hazy in their memories. In the summer before my senior year of undergrad, my sister gave birth to my adorably wild niece. At that time, I lived with them, and as I lent all the help I could, I started to see what parenthood was like. But that was only the beginning, when the parents are in the trenches. By the time my sister was pregnant with her second, my sweet nephew, 2 years later, my 100% certainty of wanting kids wavered somewhere at 80%. I was starting to toy with the idea of being a fun aunt, after seeing exactly what parenthood demanded from my sister and my brother-in-law, individually and as a couple. But all those numbers went out the window when I got sick with ovarian cancer. It was less than 2 weeks from the moment I found out something was wrong to when a fertility specialist told me there was no safe way to retrieve eggs out of my ovaries, both of which were engulfed by tumors. Instead, at 23, I had to have both of my ovaries and fallopian tubes removed, leaving behind my uterus and losing my ability to menstruate. I couldn't fully process what that removal meant until after treatment ended. I suppose I chose to compartmentalize for the sake of my sanity. But when the chemo was over and there was no evidence of disease, that's when the waves of grief came. I grieved what I envisioned motherhood would look like for me, what my children would look like, and more. Sure, there were positives. For example, there was no risk of me accidentally getting pregnant, and I could still go through IVF, but everything had to be much more intentional. I started to question why I wanted kids. Was it just the story that was around me, fed by society, and I subconsciously accepted it? But if I don't have kids, I remember asking myself, what do I do with all the caring, mothering energy I have? Cut to 5 years later, and after more life, loss, therapy, and life coaching, I realize I was putting myself in a box when I say mothering energy, by strictly thinking I had to be a mother to embody it. In Asian philosophy, the Taoist principle of yin and yang describe the unity of all life, and those two energies are interdependent and essential, representing duality, and nothing is absolutely yin or absolutely yang. They are omnipresent in every setting, moment, and individual person, irrespective of gender. I'm focusing on yin energy, which represents grounded earth energy, darkness, femininity, passiveness. The yin energy encourages nurturing, healing, and introspection. It's not strictly limited to motherhood. So in taking this philosophical step back, I noticed that all this time what I thought was mothering energy is ultimately one aspect of feminine energy. And by zooming out my focus to nurture and be a supportive presence and guide, I opened my field of vision, softening my grief. So to answer the modified question, what do I do with all the nurturing feminine energy I have? At this current point in my life, I pour it into myself first, reparenting myself and allowing myself to receive help from others. Then with the overflow, I direct it to my family, my friends, non-relatives, animals, and nature. My nurturing energy is apparent during my visits to my sister's family, when I put my niece and nephew to bed and tell them stories I make up on the spot. It's patiently listening and untangling their voices as my niece and nephews speak over each other when they tell me about their current passions. I see it when I bathe their pup and trim her nails, when I choose humor and silliness over anger and frustration. I see it in how my brother-in-law and sister care for each other and their children. I don't know what percentage of certainty I have now of having kids, because there isn't any certainty in life. I don't know if I'll get sick in the future, and I don't even have a partner right now, but I see the love and beauty in contributing to my niece and nephew's lives, and the immense healing as I reparent myself. Accepting a life where I might not have children doesn't feel as crunchy or as sticky as before, because I haven't denied my nurturing energy. I've just redefined it.